Hello, my name is Gregor von der Schewski, and today I will be telling you a bit about the Cloudmesh command shell and also how to invoke Cloudmesh from a terminal. Um, to do so, the best way to follow and to find out more about Cloudmesh is to go to our website. That would be mycloudmesh.org/learning. Here you will find a whole bunch of information, including the material that I will be presenting right now. Please go to the section Cloudmesh, and in there we have various subsections, and one of the subsections is the Cloudmesh CM command that we will be using. One of the things is we can execute Cloudmesh as part of a terminal program. So when you have Cloudmesh installed, which we have explained previously, you should be finding out if it's installed. In our case, we have it installed. We can say maybe what kind of options are there, or we can even start the Cloudmesh itself, which is like a little command shell. So here the command shell is interactive, and we can press the help command, and as you can see, we have a number of commands that we are looking at. We can quit the command shell, and we can also use the command shell on the command line tool, and we could be issuing the help command directly from the Unix shell. And as you can see, we get the same result. The difference is if I stay in the command shell, I can execute subsequent commands without leaving the shell. So I can preserve easier the state in this particular case. However, as Cloudmesh shares its state also through a database, subsequent commands are based on top of each other. So let me quit this command window and go back to our documentation so that you can see that you can follow this also. In the documentation, you find a section that says the CM console for virtual machine management. These are just some examples that have been passed along. If you have followed us with our IPython notebook and installed the IPython notebook on your local machine, you can also put this in your IPython notebook. Here, in this particular IPython, the dark areas would be representing a shell command that you would be typing in as part of a Unix terminal or Linux terminal. And so just follow along, and you can pass and copy them into your terminal. And I use this because I have a certain number of comments in here so that you can follow better along. In order for us to prepare the IPython notebook, here we are setting certain values off. You can do this also on your terminal if you like or not. So we first have to set the debug mode off and then log level off because I don't want to have too much information. Later on in this tutorial, I may also use the username, so I just import it through a normal Python program. In your case, you can probably just type it in. So what can you find out? Well, you certainly want to know what commands are available. So I typed the command cm help in our shell, and you will be retrieving this kind of an output. Next, I may want to activate a cloud. Next, I am certainly interested in activating clouds. So let's find out which clouds are available. In this particular case, I have already activated one. The activation can be done with simple CM cloud on India, which will be switching on India. And I could also select a cloud with cloud select or CM cloud select to interactively select a cloud. So when I issue the list command, I see certainly here again the cloud has been activated, and that's good for us because then we can use it. So one of the things that we may want to do is maybe I want to set default flavors and images for a particular cloud that we would like to use when we start a virtual machine. So we identify maybe the flavor m1.small as the one that we would like to set for India. We maybe want to set the future good Ubuntu image as a default image. But you may want to ask, how do I know about these names? That's really easy. We have a command, a list command. They can say cm list flavor India, which returns the names that you can specify. One of the things is you may have to refresh them at times also, and you can actually issue a refresh command, and this will not just read it out of the cache, but it will be updating it. So you see a new refresh time listed over here. One of the other things that you certainly want to know is besides the flavors, you want to know the images. So here we have an command, and we also have specified here columns and restrict our output to columns that we may be interested in. Maybe we are interested in how it's being when it's being updated, and what the actual name is. If you want to know about more of the columns, you can just leave them off or specify all as columns. Now, we have previously set some defaults. Let me scroll back. So now you can see the default of the advantage of using the IPython notebook, because I have all this information preserved. Here we have set the defaults for the clouds. And because we have set the defaults for the clouds, I can use an abbreviated start command that simply says vm start a virtual machine with the given defaults on the India cloud. I could certainly specify India also as a default. Then it just becomes vm start. Now, if I want to specify specific arguments, I just put them in as an argument to my command. And one of the things that you may want to do is how do I find out about what my command is? So if I'm standing, for example, in my command shell, I can issue the help command, help. Here we have all the commands. If I type in help VM, I find an extensive documentation about the virtual machine command that I can use, where I can see start, delete, IP address, log in into the virtual machine after I have assigned an IP address, and so forth. I can specify certain options to this command. So there's a lot of information being provided for me that helps me assisting in using command line tools. So let me find back my other window, if I can find it. Let's just see if this is here. This looks like it. And let's return back to where we left off. Once I want to start virtual machines, I certainly want to delete them. One of the things that you notice is here, for example, is a name that is being specified. I can delete virtual machines by name. So I simply say cm vm delete, and then the name of the virtual machine, and on which cloud this is, for example. And that will be deleting the virtual machine. We have already gone into starting virtual machines with more parameters. You may want to know which machine name is being used, so we have a label command so that you can query it. You can also set the way the name is being constructed in a different way, where we can, for example, set a prefix and a number, and the number is every time increased by 1 whenever we set a new virtual machine. We have already specified the cloud defaults. We have mentioned this already previously, so where we can set, for example, a cloud as a default. Here I'm doing this. It returns back that the cloud has been selected. And I can also issue, for example, help commands, as I've already shown previously. And the information is being provided in a nice format, in a man page format that you may be familiar with. The status can be refreshed in the following way. When I issue, for example, a list command on the virtual machines, and I specify the --refresh option, It goes directly into the cloud and refreshes that particular information and stores it locally. If I leave the refresh option off, it returns me just the local information. Please note that the local information may be outdated, but that's intended. Assume you're running hundreds of virtual machines. You may want to first analyze them before you do any other additional information on this machine. So then we can certainly specify more than one machine to be started, and we can also delete more than one virtual machine. Be very careful with the deletion of a function without parameters, because you're probably working in a shared group. If you were to, for example, execute this particular command, it would be deleting not only your virtual machines, but also the virtual machines from your colleagues. So be specific and put the name of the virtual machine in before you delete it. That's just a very secure way of making sure that you don't do anything wrong. If you have a virtual machine, you certainly can also log in. You have the ability to log in into the virtual machine by name or by IP address. The IP address can be assigned to a virtual machine, and you can use that particular virtual machine name IP address also as a login node. So this was all I wanted to show you about virtual machine management via Cloudmesh. As you can see, it's really trivial to do so, and there's not much to it. And naturally, if you have other clouds, you can use the other clouds the same way you have used the India cloud. Thank you so much for your attention.